thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Oh, thanks, Gino and crew, for that amazing intro, leading us into episode 331 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner Baird.
And my name is Tommy DeFay.
We have last names?
Wait a minute.
Great. Now the internet knows our last names.
What's going on here?
You're going to be able to
God, before
steal
they had
our
to go to our
identity.
Instagram to figure that out. Our very private Instagram.
Yeah. Now they're going to be making false charges under our
It's
name.
like, look at the camera and say your name. Get it on record.
Yes. Episode 331 of the Massenomics podcast. Going to be a fun one here. We're recording early August. This one's coming from you. It's
August. You believe it's August already? Came out of nowhere.
Seems like it was just July a couple days ago.
Just like that. Fall will be here before you know it, and then it's December, Tanner.
Boy, ain't that the truth? There are times when I'm outside and I this is something that you think about if you live in a place like South Dakota, and even as recent as just within this week, I've been outside and I think, I don't mind that it's hot out. It is hot out right now, but
I still don't mind.
Sometimes you have to remind yourself of that like, sure, it's hot out and it might be uncomfortable at times, but you're like, but I can be out here. Mm-hmm. Like is still safe to be outdoors.
Yesterday, even at lunch,
was pretty
borderline unbearable. Juggernaut about killed me in the gym, and then I had to ride my bike home. And I thought multiple times, like, I don't know, maybe I'll just fall off my bike, and if I do, I won't move. I'll just be stuck here.
Yeah.
But
yesterday
that was a mixture of the
brutal.
legs and the heat all together. But I made it home. My wife goes, "You rode your bike in this heat?" And I said, "I actually kind of thought the same thing at one point. I was struggling, but the heat was fine."
Well, did you tell her though? It wasn't honestly so much the heat. It would have been a good use for.
Ain't that the truth? It wasn't so much the heat.
It was a little more the humidity.
Yeah. That is the truth. Another thing I saw. Facebook's not good for much these days, but I did manage to see something on there. I think it was today. And it was referencing yesterday. Like, okay, for everyone talking about how hot it is today, just remember, in less than 6 months, it will be 140 degrees colder than it is right now. And that's not an exaggeration one bit. It will be 140 degrees colder in, August, September, October, November, December. About 5-6 months. Yeah, it will be. The temperature will drop 140 degrees. So.
Yeah.
And then you say, it's not the cold, it's that damn wind, right?
Yeah, it's the wind chill that gets you. You know what else gets you?
What?
Well, you'll just have to listen and see right here.
Listen
Maybe.
and see or listen and hear?
Yeah, you really won't see.
Oh, this thing's unplugged, or are we good?
No, it's just not.
Okay. Just
For some reason, is that a thing that happens on?
Oh, weird.
Well,
does your phone make
just
sound?
wait.
Does your phone make sound on its own?
Well, let's see.
We're troubleshooting.
We're just gonna
tech.
Well, it doesn't want to play that video. It'll play that one.
Well, maybe Grant put a limit. You can only watch it so many times, or he's gonna.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna tell you about the Strength Co. Then.
That's fine.
We're not gonna listen to Grant's special fancy ad. We're just gonna talk about the Strength Co. So. The Strength Co. was started by Grant Brogy, personal friend of the podcast, personal friend of ours. We were just both talking with Grant earlier this week, and he's a Marine vet out of the California area, originally from, what is it,
the
South Carolina?
Era.
Yeah, is it South or
It's
North?
very funny to us because we talked about it. We're from the Dakotas, and it's almost insulting. Like, people can't keep North and South Dakota straight.
Like, what don't you get about it? We're from South Dakota.
And then we go, oh, you need to meet Jen. You need to meet Jen Thompson.
She's from
your area. He goes, oh, what Carolina? I go, I don't know.
One of those two.
The exact same thing.
Yeah,
I get it now. Perspective.
Big Grant, and he saw basically a gap in the American iron plate market, and he said, I think I'm just the guy that can fill that kind of gap. So he did. He came out with the Strength Co. plates.
And the Strength Co. was born.
The Strength Co. was born, and it was right around that kind of that COVID time that we were going through, really when America needed some made in America quality iron, and he came out with it with the Strength Co plates, and now he's got them in every single size there is: 100s, 45s, 35s, 25s, 10s, 5s, 2.5s, 1.125s, or wait, 1.25s.
Yeah, 1.25.
Yeah.
1.25.
I had an extra
keywords here:
one.
machined and E-coated.
Yep.
Can't talk about Strength Co without mentioning that.
No, and they have the very snug fit on the bar, kind of unlike any other iron plates that you use. They just have a different feel, a more quality premium feel than the competitors. And we have used many of the competitors' plates before, and they don't get better than the Strength Co plates. It's why they've become the go-to plates at Massenomics Gym.
Absolutely.
So get yourself some Strength Co plates at thestrengthco.com. So yeah, I didn't need that other thing.
Wow. It's like I was watching the video in person.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was going to tell you about was Spud Inc straps. Check them out at spud-inc-straps.com. Is that right?
I think hyphen dash. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So I was going to tell you specifically about the balls, their bows, and metal attachments. So these are a variety of cable attachments that they have. A lot of them are like grip ball attachments. And so the Choppa bar, I think we all remember the Choppa bar. They have the Spoofalo bar, the Ballers bar. Ballers bar, that's been a favorite on the podcast over the year, I think. And that's kind of a attachment that has
balls,
4 different balls along
it's
a
like
fixed
a bar with balls
bar.
on it.
Yep. And then they just have a skinny butt straight bar. Interesting. Dog bone bar. It looks exactly what you would think. And then a V tricep fat handle. That's kind of an interesting one. So it's a real fat. It's the tricep push down. Actually, we don't have that one. I think I might just buy that one as I'm looking at it. I could really see the value in that wide fat grip for doing like your tricep push downs. And then they also have like the Nade strap or the Playas ball, which are more like the just traditional grip balls. So check all those and everything else, all the other fine products at Spud-Inc-Straps. Order over $75 and you can get free shipping.
And tell them your friends from Western Northeast South Dakota sent you.
Yep. At the very least, they'll give you a nice little friendly pat on the back.
As you know, they live in the Carolinas, so they'll
one of those Carolinas again. Everyone's from there, I guess, huh?
kind of are. I was sort of wondering why you're just reading ads sort of in the middle of the beginning of this thing, and then I realized, oh no, we're like 8 minutes in and we hadn't read ads yet. So it's all making sense now.
Yeah, it's piecing together for us.
It's all coming together.
Should we do a can?
Do you want to do a can right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should do a can now.
Okay.
I think we should start a can early for reasons.
I think you have the can.
We have reasons that we're going to want to start this can.
Okay.
As early in the evening as possible.
When you have the can, you get to pick when it comes out. So.
I'm the can man. Tan man, the can man.
Here we go. I don't have a fancy blindfold, so my eyes are closed. Oh, I'm already burping in anticipation.
Hand me that koozie that you've got over there, and let's reload it. And so this is I
do actually got to follow up with last week's pineapple strawberry, which is what's sitting here. I'm really loving these things. These have been. I'm definitely buying more of these. These have been good for me.
So this is a fan submitted can. And this comes pre-wrapped.
Oh, so I can open my eyes.
And there's a note, but
like my eyes can be open.
Maybe leave them a little closed just in case.
A little closed or just closed?
Mostly closed. 90% closed. There is a note with this, and this person's smart. He's been around the block on the Massenomics podcast a time or two before. He says right on the outside of the note, read after tasting and then okay on air, because sometimes there is discussion of whether we
should
really
heartfelt notes and social security numbers.
So I also do not know what this is, for the record.
All right.
We're getting you that in your hand. Both of these are wrapped.
It is a can, so they got that part right.
All I can see is just a little fringe of color here.
Okay. Are we ready to crack them?
Yeah, I think we crack into them.
Because that first whiff is key, I'm just...
Let me get a smell.
I don't know. I'm maybe thinking lemon or lime right away because it's so faint.
Yeah.
And tasting it, I'm really thinking lemon and lime. Mm-hmm. Could it just be lemon lime? That's got to be right. One of those two in some.
Yeah, it tastes kind of like a Sprite, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it tastes a lot like Sprite. Like if I'm drinking a can of, it's probably not Sprite, but yeah, it's very. It has to be lemon lime. That's my guess. Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, and I can.
Okay.
With me having seen it, I see some can color, so it really, I could see the green of the can.
I think I know what this is already because someone sent me a screen. Or where's the end of this tape?
It's a never-ending roll of tape.
Here we go. I think it's a Liquid Death
Oh,
lemon
I
lime
can see
of some
that
kind.
actually.
Someone sent me a picture
All right,
of
if you're
this
going to get
very
to the
recently.
bottom of that, I think you're right. I think that's what we're dealing with is a lemon lime Liquid Death is what it feels like, isn't it?
Yep, I thought I could see it.
While you're getting that out, I'm going to bust open the note. And this is from Big Matt. Big Matt of the Discord crew.
Spilling all over me.
He calls himself Big Matt number 5.
That's actually not who even sent me the video or the picture of this, and so it just shows that the Discord people all have fine taste together.
Here's what Big Matt says. Tanner and Tommy, I wanted to hear a live reaction to the... Oh, wait, before we say it, what do you rate it?
This is easily a 4. I don't give out 4s often, and this is a 4 to me for sure. So one caveat here, Tanner, there is 3 grams of sugar in this can.
That's
So
under my threshold.
They
I guess
they have a little extra in there. This is for sure a 4. Is it a 4.5? I don't think I've ever given a 4. It's funny, probably really only given 3 scores in the history of the game: 3, 3.5, and 4. And this is a 4 for me for sure.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5 only because
Wow.
I mean I like the flavor, but there's just something that hits me at the end of every sip that's just slightly displeasing to me. It's not really specifically related to the flavor.
It could
it's more
be
like
that it's armed with agave nectar. Maybe that's
what it is, because there's just like a little something that keeps me from, like, 3.5 is not a bad rating. First of all, 3.5 means it's a good product, but I'm going 3.5. I wanted to hear a live reaction to the taste of these sparkling waters. I typically love a lime flavor, but thought these were the worst tasting sparkling waters ever.
Really?
I drank 2 sips and dumped mine out. Can't wait to find out if you boys can finish them.
Wow.
Big Matt number 5. Big Matt Cesny. He even provided like the phonetics of so I know I'm saying that right. Niagara Falls, New York. So this is fresh, like water right out of Niagara Falls, I assume.
That shocks me that he didn't like this at all.
There is something to it to me where
if you look at the ingredient list, so it's also, LaCroix ingredient list is just naturally essence. I think that's the only ingredient. It's just ingredients only: carbonated water, naturally essenced. That's the ingredients for LaCroix.
Yeah.
This has 4 things that I would say have flavor: agave nectar, lime extract, citric acid, natural flavor, natural lime flavor, and orange extract. So there's some more flavors happening here. I still think this is a 4. I think it's great. And I love how the can looks too.
I do like the can and the branding, of course, that they have, and I still think it's good, but this flavor of some other varieties I like better than this one.
I can see there is more and different flavors here than the typical lemon lime. Interesting. All right.
So thank you, Big Matt.
Yeah, thank you.
Big Matt Mambo number 5. A little bit of Matt. Matt.
We have some follow-up, some geography follow-up. We
Thank goodness.
talked with Basement Brandon last week, and I don't know.
I remember that fella.
I think after we got off the call, we made some comparison to maybe Rhode Island being roughly the size of Western Northeast South Dakota. We're like, for sure it's the size. For sure it fits in Northeast South Dakota, but then we're like, maybe it fits in Western Northeast South Dakota. And I actually have to pull this up. It turns out it does. It actually is. The state of Rhode Island is actually smaller than our county. We didn't know that. So to give actual measurements here, because people want to know actual measurements. So the square miles of Rhode Island, it's 1,214 square miles.
Okay.
Basically 1,200.
Yep.
Good even number.
Yep.
The square miles of Western Northeast South Dakota, also known as Brown County, 1,734 31 square miles.
Brown County is bigger.
It's not even a little bigger. It's quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
So it's just our county.
Yeah.
It's a relatively small piece of the world over here.
That's true.
And it is bigger than a U.S. state. That's kind of crazy to think about, isn't it?
It is crazy. Brown County is one of our bigger eastern counties.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't pay attention to the counties enough to know.
Yeah, Brown and Spink are both good-sized counties here in eastern South Dakota.
Would you say Spink County's claim to fame would be the legendary Spink Floyd band?
It's one of my personal favorites. Good friend of mine, Big Darren, and been at the gym a time or two, is one of the lead men of Spink Floyd.
Founding members of Spink Floyd.
I'm from Spink County originally, and a friend of mine was in a band for a number of years, and it was called Spink Floyd, and still talk about it fondly often.
Yeah, when you told me is it a band called, when Darren had a band named Spink Floyd, I'm like, that is amazing. It's like Pink Floyd, but there's one extra letter on it.
Yeah. And actually, the band that he's in now is also like a Spink County themed name. But it's Stennett Junction is the name of it now, which is actually like,
I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, it's actually, there is no town called Stennett Junction, but Redfield is the county seat for Spink. This is a little northeast South Dakota trivia here. Redfield, South Dakota is the county seat for Spink County. But before Redfield was an official town, before it was named Redfield, when it was very first settled in a way, it was called Stennett Junction.
Really?
And that is why that's the name of it.
Stennett?
Yeah, I think Stennett.
Never
Stennett
even heard that word
Junction.
in this area ever, actually.
So a little piece of South Dakota trivia for
Wow.
you, just in case it comes up and you're watching. The final question on Jeopardy is what? What was the name?
What county seat in Spink County?
South Dakota.
The worst question ever.
They'd be like, what? I live there and I don't even know that.
This just made me think maybe we tease this. Maybe now isn't the time to tell it, but I think at some point we need to maybe say the story of what Darren did for your wedding, Tanner.
Oh, that's a good story.
That is,
isn't it? Yeah.
I was
Out of
like,
the things
where
you've seen
is
at
this
the-
guy
yeah.
going right now? In front of your entire wedding. There's hundreds of people, and Darren was really leading them down a road. Like it was like, oh, is this going to turn into like an episode of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where it's like, okay,
it's like, whoa, take it a little easy on the stories, dude. My whole family's here, like, whoa, my wife is, I just married this woman right here.
He's been married for like literally hours. You don't need to just ruin the whole thing right now.
Yes.
That might be the greatest setup I've ever seen.
Wait, I think we should save that one.
Yeah, okay,
for,
that is probably the greatest setup I've seen to an unsuspecting group of people. Where
And
there
me,
was,
I
where
totally
there,
was-
where there was like kind of one guy in on it. Really, it's
Yeah, and I sitting there, I was a little legitimately worried. I was like,
my wife goes, "Oh my god, what's he?" Oh, actually, she's
Yeah.
my wife. Then she's just my
Yeah,
girlfriend. She's
yeah.
like, "Oh my god, what is he doing?" She's like, "Someone needs to stop him."
well, and I was like, I was having these flashes in front of my head of like, oh my god, he actually knows some serious shit. That I'm like, what could he be?
It's okay. We'll save that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna, just so we don't forget, because we could very easily forget. I'm gonna write that down. Darren wedding story.
Big Darren.
That will be to be continued on that one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's good.
Okay.
We should talk about the American Pro that went on here. It was at the time of this recording, it was like 3-4 days ago, and quite the big meet, wasn't it?
Has there been a meet that has that many just major records falling, major lifts happening?
It was really up there. I'm quite impressed.
I was too
at everything that went on.
Because any other
there.
meet that has a lot of hype, there might be a couple of records that fall here and there, or something that gets chipped, but just the number of insane lifts going on at this was really on another level.
Yeah. So some of the really just noteworthy stuff, I don't know where to start, but so John Hack
Start at the top.
Yeah, John Hack won the raw sleeve class. No surprise there, and he rebroke his records. Correct, like his total records. That was new records there. Deadlifted over 900 pounds. nothing too surprising out. I mean, it's like not.
It's kind of just what you assume out of him at this point,
and I think
really.
so. He totaled like 2250 or even over that, and then what? Derek
Thistleweight.
All these people have been on the podcast. First of all, like every single one of them has been on the podcast before. But Derek, I think he broke the 242 sleeve world record
with a total of 2210.
Although John's record at the lower class is actually higher than that.
Yeah,
right.
It just shows how insane John had. Well, it's like the same thing at the showdown when that happened.
Right.
You know, he that day I think he had the record in like it was 2 or 3 weight classes.
Yep. Big Dan Grigsby. He hasn't been on the podcast yet, but I think we'll make that happen soon. We've got some connection there that we're working on, and I think we could get Big Dan on. He deadlifted 1,075 pounds.
He deadlifted over 1,000, not just once in a meet. He did it. Was it 3 times in a meet? What did he open at?
I don't know what he's open.
I think his opener was like 9 something.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he had like 1,030. Got that. That looked very easy.
Okay.
Then he had 1,075, and didn't he take a 4th attempt at 1,100?
I think he did, but was gassed then, I suppose.
It's like, oh, you're gassed now.
Well, right. But he crushed his
opener was 980.
Okay, he just obliterated. I think his record before was like the 1,025 or whatever it was. So what he's getting really close to within 25 pounds now is what he missed on his 4th, the 1,100. That would be the big,
Well, and now it's like,
kilos.
well, what's the point of doing 1075 again to meet? Like, you just skip that and do 1,100, don't you?
Yeah. I
guess
so.
if you're going for like some meet win.
Right. Tamara Walcott, she
also
rebroke her, also friend of the podcast, rebroke her deadlift record and I think probably her total record. It looked like a really good meet she put together.
Mm-hmm.
Christy Hawkins, she won her group.
Yeah.
Of course.
Just insane numbers.
Andy Huang came back and he actually had his biggest total ever. Over 1,000 kilograms, like over 2,200.
2204.
Yep. And like that's been a long, like I don't think he set a meet PR total for like 5-6 years.
Oh, had it been that long?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Someone
awesome.
said Christy Hawkins, second highest dots ever from Christy Hawkins.
Yep. And Andrew House here.
Yeah, he had the biggest total of the meet, right? Squatted like over 1,000 and
total 2463. God, that's getting up there.
I think Zach Myers in the 275 class totaled like over 2,300.
Yes, 2325.
Strong dude that not a lot of people talk about, but really strong guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then what's Blake LaHue had a big meet, right? Who won? Did he? I'm not sure who won the wrapped division. If it was him or
Andrew House, it looks like.
Okay, he took first in the.
Yep.
Okay.
If they went by Wilkes, this thing is sorted by Wilkes.
Might be by dots. In which a dots would be more likely to favor a lighter guy, so it might have been LaHue by dots.
Let's see. By dots, LaHue.
Yep.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So that's how important the dots versus Wilkes is. Where
it goes from a 7-point. It basically is a 7-point swing. House has it by 7 points one way, and then Blake has it by 6 points the other way.
That Andrew House is kind of a. If you don't follow him on Instagram, he's an interesting follow. He's quite the. He's a hairy beast. He is. He is quite the intense lifter.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah. Like whenever a guy's going in and slamming his head on the bar and bleeding before the lift. Like
there's like almost. Oh, so he broke Eric Lillibridge's 308 world record. That's big.
Yeah, that's one that's been standing a while now.
Yeah.
At this point, when there's a record that's been standing for 4+ years, that's an achievement.
Yes. I was just looking at the Discord for anything in particular we're missing. I mean, just a lot of crazy stuff. And there's been some talk about the because they use the Kabuki deadlift bar, which is a little bit longer than the old Texas deadlift bar that has been, kind of the gold standard in all meets. And like some meets are now using this Kabuki deadlift bar, which is a little bit longer, has a little bit more whip. So is that a contributing factor of bigger deadlifts?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Right. I think some people are upset about it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they want powerlifting with more rules and.
Well,
We all know how that goes.
and the funny thing to me, so here's what I think's funny for the people that don't like it, because it's making the bar a little bit longer and a little bit whippier. Now people are deadlifting a little bit more, possibly.
But that's what a deadlift bar is.
Well, so before deadlift bars existed, someone eventually brought the first deadlift, used the first deadlift bar, and that all happened.
And everyone was
And everyone
okay with
was
that.
just like, eventually was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what we do now. Well, not if you compete in the IPF, they still don't, obviously, but these federations, they do. But now now it's like, oh no, you did it again, and now I don't the first time was okay, but I don't like it to be any longer than those ones.
Yeah. It's like,
I
oh, we've
don't
all
know.
decided on this one.
Right.
So no, we don't push the limit anymore
Right.
here.
But there is something to that actually
know.
though too, where it's like, well, maybe where is the stopping point then too?
I'm not in a spot where I care enough about the rules and talk
I would
about
say
that,
don't
but-
go too much longer, because someone like Dan Grigsby
Oh, God,
with
I
his
know.
range of motion
know.
and with that much weight,
They might not leave the ground.
there is almost a
And
thought
there's-
of where it's like,
there's
would it leave the
definitely
ground?
guys that are shorter than him too. And
Yeah.
if you're shorter than him, you still need to be pulling a lot of weight. But yeah, it was like those Russian meets that would have the full bands like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And they would somehow
Use those like super thick plates.
Oh yeah,
or
they were
whatever.
putting basic
Yeah.
bumper plates in the first 2 or 3 plates. So the weight was going out to the end of the bar. And there was some guys that looked like the bar had like inches of clearance.
Yes.
But that's just how it be.
Yes. So it seemed like an awesome meet. It seemed really cool. Like the presentation of the meet seemed pretty cool. I tuned into the live stream for like 10 minutes one day, and it was like in between squat and bench, and all I was just, since it's in between, nothing was going on, but I got to watch some of the ads that were rolling in there. Spud Inc. ads in there. I like seeing that. And then there was some clothing brand that had really over-the-top aggressive advertisement that I've never heard of before. And I'm like, I don't know who this is, but
And
they're certainly going to war on the bar, aren't
their
they?
ads definitely stood out from all the
Yes.
other companies.
Yes.
Said,
But I did
plus
like,
one for taking the unique approach here.
I did like the Spud Inc. ads.
Oh, I love Spud Inc. ads. Up there with
I love them so much. We do them.
They're in my top 5 favorite ads.
Yeah. So that was the American Pro in a nutshell. Seemed like a really good meet. I don't know if the boots on the ground there, what their commentary would be about how it was as a lifter. But records-wise, it was impressive. That would have been a fun one to be at as a spectator, I think.
I think so. And then they put on that awesome show too.
Right.
Like it had the theatrics of
Yep.
the screens and everything else going on.
Yes. Let's see. Should we support our supporting members?
Probably.
Okay, we do have some members to support here. Speaking of the American Pro and speaking of supporting our supporting members, if you don't know what supporting our supporting members is, this relatively new segment we have to the podcast where we have these supporting members as this group of people that they choose to support us through our supporting membership options, of which we have at least 4 different options.
4, maybe 5.
Yeah, we have several different
There's
options.
options.
Yeah, there's many. There's options.
For any budget. Any budget is key.
Yeah, you can go on our website and choose to sign up, and by choosing to be a supporting member, you get a whole bunch of perks. It's basically like Perk City, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can get on our Discord community, which is a very active community, to say the least. And part of it here
You're
is
watching live this
Yeah.
very moment.
so you could do that. You could watch live each week to the podcast, so you don't have to wait that extra 3 or 4 days for it to come out.
The one true subscription, you could say.
Yes.
After we
Yeah.
declared war with
We talked
other-
about subscriptions quite a bit last week, and
Yeah, we were even talking about them before this, that if
Right.
you don't like going to the gym, you can just buy a Peloton and a tonal for $8,000 and then pay for a gym membership, and then you don't have to worry about going to the gym anymore. That's how easy it is to get out of a gym
That's
membership.
crazy.
You just pay $8,000 and $100 a month, and then you don't have to pay a gym membership anymore.
yeah, and I decided it's not so much the subscriptions I don't like; it's paying for them.
You know, I think that is actually what it's. Not the problem. The
Yeah.
problem isn't our subscriptions. It is
It's paying
the
for
part
them.
where it takes the money
Yeah,
from you.
that's the part
yeah.
I do not much
Yeah.
for. Although the supporting membership is the one exception to that rule. that's worth it. Everything else,
Well, we
you
just
could
said
argue.
there's levels for every budget.
Exactly.
Does Peloton have levels for every budget?
No.
Does Tonal have levels for every
No,
budget?
that's what makes ours
Like
so
if
far
you're a
superior.
weakling and can't lift anything, does Tonal charge you less? No.
Right.
You pay the same as anyone else using
Right.
all 200 pounds in there.
Yeah,
The guy using 10 pounds charges the same as the guy with 200.
exactly. That's why you should sign up for a supporting membership. Now, some of these supporting members, like we talked about the American Pro, Big Daniel of the supporting membership family competed at the American Pro, and he went 7 for 9 and PR'd on all 3 lifts. Does it get any better than that?
Nope.
And we got to meet Big Daniel this year at the Arnold.
Yeah, hung by the booth quite a bit.
Yep. So he put up a 573 squat, a 451 bench, a 650 deadlift, 1675 total at 189.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's some big numbers there. All around good numbers. Big Andrew Montoya is getting very, very strong. First of all, just generally speaking.
Just make this simple.
He
here.
pops into the Discord community from time to time and throws some stuff in there, and he does some monstrous lifts, like just enormous numbers. And he's been competing in strongman, and he also by the booth at the Arnold this year, coincidentally. But he's qualified for the Shaw Classic, for the, I don't know what it's called, the official strongman games or whatever that is. And I think he qualified for the Arnold Amateur this year. So he basically
Just
qualified
making the
for his
circuit
full
here.
trifecta of kind of the top amateur events, really. Like, and he's qualified for all of them. And I think 2 South Dakota guys qualified for the Shaw, and also 2 South Dakota guys qualified in like that top 10 for the official strongman games. If I'm saying that right, I might have that name wrong a little bit. But then last, of course, not least, supporting our supporting members. The Lift Evil Unleashed Strongman competition was this last
I feel like
weekend.
we really missed out there. That
we-
looked like a pretty good time.
I wish we could have been there for that. That looked like a lot of fun. And supporting members that I know were there. Big Chris, Big Emmett, also stopped by the Arnold booth this year. Big Eddie ran our Arnold booth this year. And Big Waffle Iron Jim. All 4, and Big Cutout Scants was there.
Yep, cutout
So
scants.
I think two cutout scants were there, because I think Eddie brought his and Big Waffle Iron Jim brought
double
his.
trouble.
Yeah, so there was 2 scants, and scants was actually in the background of mostly all the deadlift videos I saw. You know, the Massenomics sponsored the deadlift, so our big logo was there, which was fun to see. So both 4-foot and 6-foot versions of scants were there, like cheering everyone on. And I can only imagine the questions that some people had of who is that?
Yeah.
But of course, if you know, you know.
Yeah, I saw that group photo and I was pretty jealous.
Oh, that would have been a lot of fun. No doubt. So great supporting our supporting membership week, huh?
Very active. A very active week for the supporting members.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Should we hit them with something good?
Advertisement.
Y'all want to hear something good?
Today's show is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
One last note before we kick the Discord crew out. Everyone wants to know about the drop that should be happening this week. We'd like to, and with everything going on, there is a delay. This isn't us playing games in this. We want the drop out.
We wanted this damn thing out about 2 weeks ago.
But the premier, the
premier
centerpiece,
item,
the
the star on
piece
the tree
de resistance
Yeah.
is just not ready yet.
It's not in our physical possession. So
and we can't do it without having this one. It is necessary.
we're really hoping it's here next week.
Yes.
But we don't even know that for sure yet.
So stay tuned. Hopefully a drop on what would be the date of the, would you call that the 11th?
It'd be
Yeah,
about
the
that.
11th.
Yeah, hopefully the 11th.
Okay.
A boy can hope.
Yep. All right.
Bye, Discord.
See you, Discord crew.
All right. Bye to Discord.
And
Hello to
Big Gluck.
Mr. Gluck.
Hello.
Yo, Adrian.
Am I supposed to ask who this is?
I figured everyone said that when you answered the phone.
I have gone that a lot in my life. I actually hate that. So thanks for reminding me. I outgrew that.
Oh, we thought for sure we were the first people to ever do that.
Yeah. The first today, maybe.
How many, if you could quantify it like in a number or a range, how many times do you think you have gotten that joke before in your life?
I started blocking it out as a child just because of the pain and misery. I don't know. Growing up, it was all the time. I don't hear as much anymore, but I avoid people, so maybe that's why.
Well, we don't let things die, even if things are should die or are way past their prime. We hold on to them for a really long time.
That really doesn't sound like you guys at all.
So this is Big Adrian Gluck of Gluck's Gym.
That is, yep, the one and only.
Okay, and we're excited to get you on this week. It's been a long
Hey,
time coming, if you ask us.
Are you guys that small YouTube channel that keep harassing me to go on your podcast?
Yeah, we're one of them.
Yeah, just
I
one
assume
of
you have
them.
more than just us, but yes.
It's not that long of a list, so don't get too excited.
That's what she said. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're excited to get you on, and we got a number of topics we want to talk to you about here. So are you buckled in for this one?
I am, but I mean, I only had 2 requirements, and you said I didn't have to know anything. So the fact that there's categories makes me a little nervous.
No.
No, this is the lifting podcast about
Yeah.
nothing. So there's a lot of nothing to come at you. I mean, there's not anything. There's not anything. It's all nothing.
Your brain will just go right into autopilot here. You
Yeah.
don't even think about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite part about listening to your podcast. It's like 2.5 hours, but I can get through it in like 15 minutes and not miss anything.
That's
Yeah.
a pretty rave review,
Yeah.
to be honest.
So you can listen to it at 10x speed and be like, I didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did actually just listen to Brandon's episode and listen to you guys talk about socks for about 20 minutes before you called. That was my research. So,
Socks and stocks, baby.
So what's your take
Yeah.
on socks?
I mean, I wear them, and that's that's about as far as I.
What's
I
your
go for that
preferred
one.
height?
I just spent 20 minutes of my life doing this. I have to do it again.
Our listeners really like when we beat dead horses. So
Yeah, that's why I like my channel so much. I guess.
okay, so first question: what's it like to be number 11 on the list of the top 10 home gym reviewers?
Yes. Freedom Fitness Equipment really did their. He came out with that list. He came out with that list, and I messaged him, and I was like, "What did I do wrong?" And he's like, "I just didn't know who you were, or you had a website or anything." And I was like, "That's fair. That's fair. I'll do better next time." But it's good.
Yeah.
I can only go up from here, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Something to shoot for.
I get that, thinking, putting myself in his position because we've made
we've
some
been
lists
there.
over the years, and without fail, you leave someone out because you just don't know. It just we're no stranger to making lists and things that we probably shouldn't be making lists of, and that's when you get caught of where the
or
people
feeling like you kind of know what's, but you know just enough to piss off enough people too.
Right. So to be fair, I sympathize with him on that.
Yeah, I don't hold any resentment. I get it. There's bigger guys than me out there.
But you still hold a little resentment, I assume.
Oh, I absolutely hate him, and I blocked him right away. Yeah.
Fair.
I'm just gonna get bigger so that I can be like, he didn't know who I was.
To make
Look at
him
me now.
number 11 on your list.
That's your complete motivation to get bigger is just to show him.
It's not just him though. It's everybody that's bigger than me. I hate everybody.
I get that. Our strategy has always been just exist longer.
Yeah,
Don't be better at anyone.
Don't
than
have to be
anything.
better.
Yeah.
You can be totally worse, but as long as you're around longer, you will win.
It's working for you guys.
So you noticed our strategy.
Yeah, it's working really well.
So you do have your YouTube channel that seems to be going really well. All joking aside, we're just talking about it. Like it honestly seems to be going really, really well. How long have you been doing it? Because you've made a lot of progress in a short period of time.
I'm not so good with math, but I guess about a year and a half or so
Right.
is where it's at.
That's not very long
No.
for the numbers that you're at and that you're
No,
like the views
that's
that
what
you're
people tell
garnering.
me. I don't
Right.
listen to them, but that's what people tell me.
So what, I guess the question is, there's probably a lot of people that would like to do that or that would think it would be cool to grow that much in that period of time. So what's your formula for that?
Yeah. So you're asking me to give you all the secrets so you can get as big as I am? Is that-
Not just us. We want to give
to
all.
everyone. Yeah.
We're going to give away all the secrets to everyone right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a secret. It's just you put everything you've got into it until you hate everything. And then you're a little bit successful. So then you can't stop because you've gotten too far. So that's basically it. Like this is all I do, you know. Winnie would, she would probably attest to that. And wanting to punch me in the face.
Your wife.
Yeah, my wife.
So, but you must be pretty disciplined about it. I mean, you don't like accidentally have your level of production and consistency and not have some disciplines. Like, do you, like, when it comes to planning, are you like planning a month out and like, we're doing these videos here, and like, do you have a schedule, or what does your workflow look like in that respect?
So I have I'm glad that you guys think I look somewhat professional. I have an idea document that's like a Google Doc it's just pages of ideas that I never review. And then I try to plan out to have the equipment far enough that I can actually review it and have some time with it. But in reality, the video I'm publishing tomorrow, which is one of your Discord crew, Jim Torres there, Keith Honeycutt.
Oh yeah.
I just finished it
the
20
wine
minutes
cellar.
ago.
Yeah, the no wine
Yes,
cellar.
the no wine cellar. So I literally just finished it 20 minutes ago and sent him the link, and he's probably watching it right now. So that's what my workflow is actually like. Like Wednesday nights, I finish it and I'm freaking out, and I'm like calling Winnie and being like, "Can you look at the thumbnail? Can you read the description? What about this title?" And then she basically keeps me from like punching the computer screen or crying.
So like you mentioned a lot of things there, but one of them, just what some people might think is really basic, is the thumbnail image. But there's a lot to that as far as garnering more views and what, you know, I've listened to other podcasts where they talk about this. Like, is that stuff that you're studying, or, you know,
Have some trial and error going on?
right on something like as simple as what people would look at like a thumbnail, but it can actually make a pretty big difference, or a title.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, it's jokes aside, I put a ton of time into researching. I watch those channels that tell you how to be a channel and get different ideas. I see how my stuff does, but in reality, it comes down to, for YouTube anyway, I'm not great with Instagram. I don't have time for that right now. I mean, I have an Instagram, but it's a different ballgame. Those aren't real people. I know that's where your size comes from, but that's like, yeah. Anyway,
it is way, but I mean, that is a fair
it's-
point. It is way different. And like, even it's way different than the YouTube followers. It's also way different than TikTok for those that are doing that. Or in our case, it's much different than like our podcast listenership audience. Like they all are different.
yeah, they're different games you have to play.
And one number means a lot different. Like there's there's a huge swing in the value of one number across those platforms too.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, because I mean, in YouTube, you're talking about hours or tens of thousands of hours of watch time, and then Instagram, you're talking about seconds. You know, obviously it adds up or whatever, but no, YouTube, it comes down to first and foremost your thumbnail and your title, because if nobody clicks, that's all that matters, and then how much they listen or watch. So you have to be entertaining, and that's the game I try to play the best I can play it.
What part of the process do you like the most, and what part of the process of producing the content for YouTube do you like the least?
Honestly, I like the most when the video is done, and if it does well. I like that. But otherwise, like right now, since I have a full-time job and this, which is kind of like a full-time job, it's not particularly enjoyable. Like, I'm not Basement Brandon where I can go and like just fluidly talk and get a video out in like 20 minutes.
He's really good
or
at
whatever
that.
he does.
And I don't think
he's
people
incredible.
realize how hard that actually is to do.
He's an anomaly of how good he is at that. Actually,
He's so good at it. But
that
it's-
is that is actually not possible for like 90% of people.
The way he does it, he makes it look so easy that you
think
done with it,
like,
you're
I can do that.
I could start a channel and do that. He just sits and talks. Like, I can talk. It's like, no, you
Yeah.
can't do it like that.
Yeah, that's why I'm where I'm at. So I hate him as well. Not because he's bigger than me, because he lives in Rhode Island. It's such a small state. He's actually a really small human being. Everything looks big in Rhode Island.
It's funny. We were just talking earlier in this episode again about how small Rhode Island is. So, and a good callback there again.
I drove through it the other day. It took like 35 minutes.
Like, that's almost not an exaggeration.
That
though.
is insane.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, I'm in Connecticut, so I can't talk. I'm like the third smallest state.
Do you know much about the western, northeast, South Dakota region of the country?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time vacationing out there. It's a real hot spot. No, I don't know anything about geography.
Well, you're always invited, and we like to always tell people you do. If you come, we'll give you a free day pass at the gym.
Yes, I think I've heard that joke.
No, there's no joke here.
What's so funny about that?
Well, if I ever get invited on again, and I'll do my best not to, we can do a gym tour that somebody will actually watch on your YouTube channel if I come next time.
Yep, we'll do a gym tour for sure. Absolutely, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
But going back to your channel and what you're doing there, are you a once a week post schedule, and have you kind of stuck to that the whole year and a half? I mean, like, the consistency is important, obviously.
Yeah, so I'm primarily one a week when I'm not when I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher, so in the summer I'm off. So I can sometimes get an extra video out, but as my channel's gotten more successful, it takes me longer to make crap than I really thought it would be the other way around. So it hasn't worked that way this summer, but my plan is to put a little more content out in the summer. I mean, I've got 4 weeks left, so it's probably not going to happen. But I try to be really consistent with it.
Do you would the end game be for this to potentially be your full-time job then at some point in time?
I think it would be interesting shot. I mean, my grandfather always used to say, I mean, he's like 92. I think he told me this like last year. He says, I still don't know what I want to do with my life. And I kind of always take that to heart. Because like I've been teaching for 17 years. I love the kids, but I don't think I can do it for 37 and a half years. So that would be cool just to have a change. But I don't know if it's gonna hit that. YouTube doesn't pay you a hell of a lot, so you have to make money other ways. So we'll see what happens. But I guess that's the goal right now, and we'll see where it goes.
Do any of the kids know you have a YouTube channel?
Oh yeah.
What do you teach? What the age group?
High school.
Okay, what subject? Curious.
All of high school. I'm a tech ed teacher, so I teach engineering, robotics, 3D modeling, video production, that kind of stuff. Just tech
all the
stuff.
fun stuff.
Yeah, well, that sounds like fun teaching.
Electives.
So what do they say? Do they all watch your YouTube channels or your YouTube videos?
They do some, because when you're a teenage boy, you want to learn how to lift, but it's gym equipment, so like. They just want to know about steroids and stuff. And I can't help you there.
Right.
But they will figure it out. And then at first they'll come up to me and they'll be like, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel," and they want to like make fun of it. But then they'll look at the subscribers and they'll be like, "Oh,
wait, you're actually."
And
good
then
at
they
this.
kind of like it.
And
Yeah.
then they're like, can you teach us how to do that?
It's funny you say that, because I teach video production, and those are my worst students, and they all want to be like TikTok or Instagram or YouTube stars, and they're the worst kids. And they all know I have a channel, and they'll watch the videos and like laugh and stuff. I'm like, what? Why the hell don't you listen to what I'm telling you to do?
This is working right here.
It's working, yes. You just have to do these things.
This sounds like old man get off my lawn talk, but I think the hang up there is, they say that they want to do that. They want to be TikTok famous and stuff, but even most of those people, even on the platform of TikTok, if they're getting famous on it, they're putting it like, it's not
Like,
just,
it's like a job.
Yeah, it
They're not
doesn't
just
happen
like,
on
hey,
it is a
accident.
job.
It doesn't like, even for a younger TikTok famous person, like savvy ones are putting work into that to make it that way.
Yeah, and I try to explain that to them, but when you're a teenager, I don't know, it's tough, like I was probably worse than these kids were when I was a kid. So what can I really say? But it can be a little frustrating because I try to get that same point across, and I'm like, here, you have discovered my channel, I can do it. Just listen and do these things. And it doesn't always work.
When you're reading or when you're recording a video, do you ever use a teleprompter?
No. So what I do is I write out like a script of what I want to say. It's not word for word, but it's the internet, and you're going to get bullied on the internet if you say anything. Just if you say anything, right or wrong, you're always wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my research first and say what I want to say. Because if you got to say specs and things like that, I can't remember that off the top of my head. So I have like a script that I want to say, and then I'll practice it, and then I'll get in front of the mirror, or I get in front of the camera, and then I'll screw up for like 4 hours, and eventually I get a video out at the end.
Damn, that's pretty good, because we thought, oh, he must read because he's staying pretty fluent on this, but it's natural enough. But there's a lot of ground he covers, so to remember all that is extremely hard to do. But you're doing it, man.
Yeah, well, I do it I make it look like Basement Brandon, but it's not magic.
Yeah. But even then, we've done just enough videos to even know, like, all right, just say these 3 sentences. And it's so hard to not.
Especially, when you turn the camera on and all of a sudden you're like, wow, where did my brain go?
And it's dumb because
we sit here. It's the world's most awkward thing.
It is, and we sit here and do this podcast for 2 hours, and it's like, oh, there's no problem. We can go on and on. But the whole point is that it's just loose. When you're trying to stay on YouTube and be concise and get your point across, it's hard to do.
And the conciseness is actually a challenge in itself, because the challenge to me, I think, is a lot of time we're used to this where we'll talk for 2 hours about absolutely nothing. And like we have an important topic or something you really want to cover, to make that be in like 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's like one of the hardest parts, I think.
And that's the game too for YouTube, because you want engagement, percent watched, right? So if they don't watch enough of it, YouTube will just bury your video. So that's where I kind of script it a little bit. And so when I run B-rolls and stuff, sometimes what I'm actually doing is I'm cutting the camera and then looking at my notes again to say, like, what am I supposed to talk about next? And then I'll do the next section. But you see that B-roll and you'll never know that I stopped talking.
And we think, wow, what a cool panoramic image of this bench.
Yeah, and it's really because I'm stupid and I can't remember what to say next.
This old bait and switch.
Yeah, and I did it with the tours when I did a couple tours. I went to the No Wine Cellar and stuff. I find it helps other people because I'm actually pretty good on camera for somebody who's done some videos. But if you put a normal person in front of a camera, they get really nervous because they think I'm going to publish them like stammering. So I do the same thing. I'll be like, we're just going to get through this minute or two, and then we're going to cut it. So you give you a second to process, and we'll run a B-roll, and nobody will know the difference.
Yep.
It seems to work.
No, I like that. What do you have any really big, fun video ideas coming up of something you maybe haven't done yet, but that are in the works that you're excited about or planning on?
I have a lot of videos, but I don't want you guys to steal them. So...
Oh, we won't let it. We'll cut this part out. You don't worry about that.
Yeah, sure you will. So I've got a ton of video ideas. It's just like, it's an expensive niche. So I have to buy a lot of this stuff myself. So it makes it difficult, but I want to do like, just buying weird gym equipment or destructive stuff where you like cut dumbbells in half to see what different companies' dumbbells actually look like. Because companies, they're corporations, right? They want you to buy their stuff. They're going to say it's the greatest thing no matter what. So like I want to do destructive stuff, or just like build an entire gym from wish.com, just weird crap like that would be fun. But I don't know how popular it'd be, but it'd be interesting to film at least. Or just gym tours, traveling would be a lot of fun to see different setups.
Yeah. Do you worry about feeling obligated to anyone? Like, say you're getting things for free or that sort of thing. Like, is that a tricky dance at times to make sure you're giving an honest review, but yet, hey, this company is treating you pretty good. Right.
I mean, I could see how a lot of people would, but to me, I'm not trying to be the anti-reviewer, because I realize that a lot of, or I should say, I know the reality of a lot of reviewers. I'm not saying everybody does this, but they feel that pressure. And I've had people tell me, reviewers say, I'm not going to say anything bad. That's the company that makes me the most affiliate money. But to me, that's kind of what I want to be, the anti of that. That's what I'm built on. So I tell companies when they email me, I am going to be me. Make sure you watch my channel and you know what's going to come out of my mouth. And I'm going to say whatever I want to say. And if you don't like that, we just have to look somewhere else. And at this point, I'm no huge channel. I get more crap than I could ever keep up with. So I don't really feel bad. And then big companies like Rogue and Titan, they're not sending me stuff for free anyway. I buy it. So, well, what are they going to do? Cancel my affiliate? Actually, Titan hasn't yet, which is actually, I have no idea why they haven't. But I don't know if that's what the channel's based on. So if I don't do that, what the hell's the point of the channel, I suppose?
Yeah, that makes sense. I can, that's good though. I mean, that's what, to someone like me, that's what I like in a channel like that. I kind of want it to be
A real straight shooter.
Yeah, a real straight shooter for sure. What do you think about, I don't know, tech, smart fitness? It's a topic we've talked about a few times on the show, that sort of stuff in the home gym.
So being a tech teacher, I think the potential's cool. I just don't see it there yet, especially like the big scale stuff. I know you're probably referencing Tonal or Peloton, your favorite companies that you guys are slinging your affiliate links all the time. So like, I don't have a Peloton, so I couldn't tell you. But I've got bike companies that ask me to do their shit like that all the time. And I've done a Spedience. I've done like a home gym thing. I think the potential's there, but I don't think it's going to be, to me anyway, and people that train like you and I don't think it's ever going to be, and this could be old man syndrome, a one-stop thing. Well, I can see where they could track bar speed or, other stuff that could be really cool. Maybe track your form or figure something like that or, certain apps to track workouts, some of that stuff. But I just don't think like a Tonal at this point is, you're so many years away if it works at all,
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times the people making those products don't really lift. I mean, that's a generalization.
Right.
So it's really hard to be like, what do we need to do if you don't do it yourself,
Yeah, I kind of get, that's a good point. I kind of get that vibe too, where it's almost like
We're a
but
startup
do you
company
guys really
that happens
lift?
to make fitness
Yeah,
stuff.
like we analyzed the market and feel like this is where we can profit the
It
where
was
we
like, it's
have
like a built for and by marketers. Like,
right. Yeah.
It's not that smooth yet, and it's not that fluid yet. Like the one I had, I mean, they replaced the motors. I had a prototype model. It wasn't that fluid, and that's what I said in my review. Like if it's going to be a badass functional trainer with a screen that shows me workouts and things to do, that's cool if it wants to just be a functional trainer. But like if it doesn't move like a functional trainer, I don't want to pay more money for something that doesn't work as well. Like it's got to be such an improvement. And I sure as hell don't want to pay a subscription fee. I hate subscription fees. So if you're not like giving me some crazy service, I don't know why I'd want to invest in it. But in 10 years from now, who the hell knows where these things are like?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point though too. It's like, yeah, maybe there's something that it turns
yeah,
into.
I mean, I think that it's safe to say there's some smart component to this. I mean, Tanner and I both use Juggernaut AI Training, which is an app that tells us everything what to do, and we report every single lift we do back into the app. So it's not like there's no place in training for this, but yeah, once you start, attaching software to equipment, the equipment needs to be really, really good, and the software needs to be just as good, if not better, maybe even.
Yeah. So if you give me a Rogue Ohio power bar that tracks my bar speed and tells me other things, and there's nothing different about it,
that could be
that's
pretty
cool.
cool.
Then all of a sudden I think
really
that's
cool.
kind of cool. Yeah, right.
But if you give me like a functional trainer that doesn't work as well as my functional trainer, then
It's like, well, I don't want to use
On top
this
of
crap.
on top of costing even more and costing you every month to use it too.
yeah. So I don't know, but who knows in the future? Like it could be a thing.
Right. What about, we're kind of big on safety over here, and like something we've noticed over the years is beverage safety within home gyms. People get a little cavalier with it sometimes, to be completely honest, and we don't like it. We just wondered from your perspective, like, how do you feel about, beverage safety equipment in home gyms and that sort of thing?
Well, I saw these two guys who came up with a really cool idea, and I think they stole it off my Google Docs of ideas. But I did buy one just to see if it was the same as my idea. But they beat me to it. So, you have a couple of ways to put your drinks. You have a reverse hyper, which is a really good way to put your drinks.
Tried and classic
But if you
option.
have, if you have kids, they like to knock the drinks over. So I do have this thing called a drink spotter. Have you guys ever heard of it?
I'm intrigued.
Sounds like a great
You
idea.
had us at drink spotter.
So it's stainless steel and made in the USA. It's a quality product. You should really look. I'll send you an affiliate link. Use code MASS on my website I send you.
Yep. Sounds like there's something there.
Yeah, it'll keep your kids from like knocking your drinks over on your expensive equipment.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Sometimes we like to forcefully insert our own little ads into our organic conversations with people.
Yeah, well, you've got to address the known issues, and
Exactly. What would you describe your own personal training like style or goals as? From what I see from watching your channel, I wouldn't say you're a power lifter. You're not actively trying to compete in powerlifting, but maybe you're training for general strength training. But that's for you to answer.
Well, I'm mostly just like a cute face. So I do cute face. I do like a power building, I guess, right now. I don't actively compete in powerlifting. Winnie wants to, so I would do it. If she signs on, she's pretty strong, but I don't know, maybe I'm not brave enough, but I would do it. But I guess just power building, I always start with like a heavy compound lift, and then I go more into like a bodybuilding style stuff, just because I'm trying to keep up with my kid is really what I'm trying to do, and making sure people don't make fun of me and say I'm fat online. That's what it really comes down to.
Well, to your credit, even before the conversation, before we started recording today, we both made the comment, not every reviewer out there necessarily looks like they lift.
You talking about Basement Brandon?
Yeah. No, we did talk about Basement Brandon. Like, yeah, Brandon is extremely strong, obviously.
Yeah, you guys got to stop bullying the poor guy.
But we were saying you do look like you lift. Do you think that's important for your like if all of a sudden you kind of quit lifting? I granted your motivation and interest in the whole thing might wane, but like from a perspective of like just viewership, do you think it matters?
I don't know. I mean, even not even I'm not big by any means. I get a lot of people. They're always like foreigners. They're like, you don't even look like you lift. And I want to be like, listen, when you're in America, not everybody's juiced up. No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but like we're not all freaking monsters. So I mean, maybe it helps a little bit on the surface. I don't really know, but it's more of like a lifestyle choice. So it's not going to go away. Like I have to keep doing it because it keeps me sane. But it might help. I don't know.
It's something we talk about, and we don't know what that answer is either, because being in shape doesn't necessarily, or being even looking like you lift doesn't necessarily mean you can put together a better review. But does it make you more relatable? I don't know. I don't know what those answers are either.
Yeah, I suppose there's arguments that you could say I'm less relatable, or
right.
I don't really know. I'm not sure exactly who you're talking about, who doesn't look like they lift. But
we're just speaking in generalities.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
You mentioned your wife. You get your wife involved in videos quite a bit, I think. Does she enjoy it too, or do you have to drag her kicking and screaming?
She puts up with me for I have no idea what reason. But she does enjoy lifting, and she doesn't enjoy when I freak out and borderline cry. So she does help out. She's actually pretty decent on camera and seems to enjoy it, but I don't know if it's just like for some reason she likes me, or I don't know what her master plan is. She wants me to hit it big so she can stop working. I'm all for that.
Yep.
But she's pretty good with it. She's got a good like personality where she is probably better than me in front of the camera and just like good with small talk and socializing, whereas I'm kind of awkward.
How do you feel like sometimes there's like picked up in the YouTube comments, etc., that there's a decent number of comments about your wife? Nothing negative.
Well,
positive actually, but
yeah, sometimes a little over the top.
Yeah, that's my question. How do you always feel about maybe if it's a little over the top?
Listen, I mean, I know that she's a walking cake factory. I mean, let's be honest. I'm the biggest bakery in the gym. But let's let her have her little moment, okay? So So it's fine to hit on me. I'm fine with that. And I'd appreciate if you guys would put a couple in before we hang up the phone call. So I'm feeling neglected right here. But,
we said, do you look like you left?
Yeah. We already got to.
Yeah, but I mean, like, call me handsome or something, you know, like a little more effort, guys.
Buy me dinner first.
Yeah. So it's fine as long as it doesn't cross the line. Like, I get it. She's on YouTube, and I always tell people, like, I don't tell her how to dress, right? I just like, well, this is the lift I need you to do. These are the puns. I put these stars next to your name. You got to do these lifts. And then she just does them. I think people think like she's dolling herself up or posing a certain way, but she's just doing her lift, and I'm just running the camera. But it can be a little weird when people get a little bit much with it, and there's some weirdos that will DM you and say stuff. But I'm sure you guys know. Like, so whatever you guys are thinking, it's weirder than that.
Okay.
We're not going to say it because we'll both lose our channels. But in general, most people are very supportive, and it's fine. Like, I guess I get that she's very attractive.
Well, things can be fun.
Yeah, you can have fun with it.
Right.
Yes. Right. It's just like when you're creepy, you don't realize you're creepy. Then I'm like, just dial it back a little bit, buddy. Like,
we don't know each other. Like,
yeah,
what's going on here?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, if I knew you in real life, you could say lots of stuff. I mean, I wouldn't say it to her; she'd probably beat the crap out of you. But
right.
But it can get a little weird. But she's got a lot of fans, and that's fine.
Well, overall, it's probably not bad for the channel.
No, probably not. People like to say, like, just give her the channel, we'd be more successful. Like, maybe, but I'm doing all the work here, guys. Like pretend you like me.
Yeah. Okay.
It is a one-man show.
Okay, so we've got this little game we like to play. You may be familiar with it.
Wait a minute. I've got this little game I like to play. Maybe you're familiar with it. It's called Overrated, Underrated. Let me explain the rules to you. You have to say overrated or underrated. You can't ride the line.
Okay.
But you have your druthers.
Druthers.
Are you ready for this?
Druthers. All right.
Yeah. You're a guy that knows overrated, underrated, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, I made it. It's on my YouTube list of ideas. So I hope you guys don't have a game like this, because that's going to be a lawsuit. So I've got one here. I've got. You guys have to listen.
You have one for us.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually the host. Yeah. You guys are really rude guests. So this one's for Tommy.
All right.
Overrated or underrated? Having more gorgeous locks than your wife.
I mean, I'd say it's underrated. She would definitely say it's overrated, because she'd be like, really? Yeah. I'm going to say that it's underrated. Who doesn't love a little attention, right?
That's fair. So if I come and we do a YouTube review, are you okay with me rolling my hand through your hair?
Oh, you wouldn't be the first. Like, if we,
like at the Arnold every year. There's
like if we go out, you know, and we live in a small town, so I've been around long enough. People know who I am. But if we go out to like a bigger city and we're in a bar, like, it's not unusual for me to get stopped like 5 to 20 times a night for people to either touch my hair, take pictures with me, make some comment. Like, that's just, it comes with the territory, you know?
Yeah.
And then you add in Tanner, when you add in Tanner with long hair and a beard, and people, like, just when we went to the Arnold this year, people were like, we ate at Culver's, you know, stopping on the road, and people were like, oh, are you guys like
brothers?
Are you pro wrestlers? Are you brothers? Like, what's going on here? Like,
so long hair does typically signify brothers.
Honestly, we got like that came up, or even just the fact where neither of us are freakishly tall. How tall are you?
As tall as it makes me sound impressive on the internet, but like 6 foot.
Okay, right.
I tell my friends like 5'8", because then they can't be like 6'2", because then I'm really short.
Yeah,
I'm like 6 foot.
So we're like, what are you like?
6'1",
6'1", and I'm like 6'2", 6'3", and like at some of these places that makes you giants too. So that's part of it also, where it's like,
that's the best.
Yeah. They're like, you guys might all be stronger than us, but at least we're tall.
Yeah, you can't get that. You can't work to that.
Can't teach height.
You will never be me.
Yes.
All right, so my second one's for Tanner.
Okay, great. That was
overrated or underrated. Yeah, overrated or underrated. Doing cookies in a child-sized go-kart, possibly with or without your children.
Oh, whipping shitties.
Yeah, it's whipping shitties.
Whipping shitties is what that is. That is underrated. Absolutely. I would say you're never too old to whip a shitty. And like, that is fun. Like when I'm 80, if I make it that long, if I went out and whipped a shitty, it'd be almost hard not to get a little
You just,
little
like,
fun out of
just
that.
break it
Pretty
loose.
exciting, yeah.
And like part of my oldest son, he's just turned 11, and part of the best part about him getting that old now is he's starting to get cooler and cooler toys. And
Yeah.
like it's just like I get the stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever you're getting, yeah, I better take a look at that first here. Let me I better give that a test run to make sure it's safe. And
That's pretty much how I buy presents for my kid.
absolutely
That's what I want.
that is exactly what I do, force him to like the things I like.
Yeah.
And punish
Good
him if he
parenting.
does anything outside of that.
Yeah, 100%. It can't go wrong.
Yeah, so
I picked-
underrated.
I picked that one because you called them cookies, but we call them donuts up here. So I was trying to see where the hell cookies came from.
You did. We've had believe it or not, we've had extensive conversation over this exact
Oh, I
topic
believe it.
on the
Yeah,
podcast.
because and then the other phrasing is whipping
Whipping
and shitty,
shitties.
and a lot of people had
Yeah.
never heard of whipping
have
shitties.
you
before.
ever heard of whipping shitties?
Yeah, because I listened to the podcast.
Okay, right.
That's why I was confused by the cookies, but I don't remember the cookies being mentioned.
Yeah. So is that something you've ever heard?
I've heard that.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Whip and shitties I've heard, but we just call them donuts.
Yeah, and donuts.
We're a bunch
is-
of
I think
rednecks up
donuts
here,
is
so-
probably the most common.
I think so
vernacular
too. But
there.
yeah, doing cookies, that's still something we would always say doing cookies too.
Yeah.
Donuts makes
Yeah,
more
I-
sense to me. I mean, they're both round, but there's just
Donuts
something
is
about
cooler, too.
the hole inside the donut that makes it seem more like what you're doing. Because that's kind of
Yeah.
like if you do it on a gravel road, it leaves something that resembles a bit of a donut. I think more so than a cookie.
100%.
But
I'm
whipping
glad we could
shitties,
educate your.
whipping shitties always
users.
sounds the funnest, most fun. I think.
Yeah. That's all I planned. So
Okay.
you could rip off my idea now if you'd like.
Okay. So just to go over it again, you are familiar with the rules then?
No, I've never heard of the game.
Okay, so overrated or underrated rings in the gym.
Oh, they're underrated. Nobody uses them or buys them. See, they all think to use rings, you have to be, a handsome devil like myself with a YouTube channel, highly successful. And you have to have that gymnast physique that all the boys with long hairs are like, they're drooling over. But no, nobody has them. And they're like less than $50, right? And you can do so much crap. I'm not saying you have to do dips and stuff, the iron crossing crap on them. I can't do crazy stuff. But when I had a shoulder injury, I would use them to do pull-ups and dips because it's the only way my joints didn't hurt. And I give them a lot of credit because they can kind of move freely. They're more difficult to use, but they're a good way to hit those muscles that you're not hitting otherwise. And I freaking love rings, and I put them in videos all the time. It's kind of like you guys beat the dead horse. That's my dead horse.
Yeah.
I killed that thing a long time ago, and nobody listens to me though. But I'm just going to keep saying it. And then
Yeah,
somebody
don't
will listen
ever give
eventually.
up. Don't
Yeah.
ever quit
No,
on
never.
that.
Somebody's going to buy a pair of rings someday, and they're not going to use them. But I know that they bought them because of me.
And on the beating the dead horse, it's just when you think you've beat it so much,
there's just
nobody
nowhere
could
more this could
possibly
go.
get one more laugh out of that. Someone will send
that's
you a
when it gets-
DM or a comment that's like, "Yep, lift shorts still are expensive, aren't
Yep,
they?"
that's
That's when it gets funny.
Yep.
That's when it gets funny.
Yep. So you never.
There's always a new person for the joke,
Yes, and
They
everyone.
don't know that you've been making that joke for 3 years.
It's someone's first time always.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's who we all do it for.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Overrated or underrated Gungnir bars?
Gungnir? Depends on the bar. Depends on the bar. The dumbbell handles are really good. I don't know what they cost. Probably more than I would have spent. So all my Gungnir stuff was sent to me for free. I always say that in the videos. The barbell is really badass, but the knurling's not amazing. I wish it had the same finish as like the handles do. The handles are really cool because you guys, I don't know if you use loadable dumbbell handles. You have a real gym, so you probably have actual dumbbells. But loadable dumbbell handles suck. So if you can snap that thing on and off and like look cool when you're alone in the gym and nobody's lifting with you, because it's a home gym, they're badass. But they're curl bar. I already sent them some info. Like the knurling doesn't go the whole way. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not gonna pay $500 for a curl bar that's not beyond perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not a whole lot to a curl bar. So if you don't have the knurling right, I don't really care about the rest of it. So I don't know. I think in a cool factor, if you want to be bougie, like some of those fancy home gym reviewers. I think we all know the type.
Yep.
I think they're really cool, but I got people asking me if I want to, like, you got to review that curl bar. I'm like, what am I going to tell them? Like, hey, your $500 bar, nobody should really buy this because it's really expensive, and it's got to be phenomenal for that kind of money. I mean, think of what you can buy. You can buy a used child's go-kart for that kind of money and ride around the neighborhood. So, like, which one do you get more enjoyment out of?
Yeah, my thing
I guess
on
I gotta
those
say
bars.
A little overrated.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I haven't.
But you can keep going.
Okay, we haven't used them.
We haven't. No.
To be fair,
they look, and we both think they look really cool.
It looks really cool, but then I really think about the clip thing, and I'm like, I get it, that's nice and stuff, but if we put that in our gym, there would be a bunch of people that would still just put regular clips on.
They wouldn't know what it is.
That would be hilarious.
They just put clips over the top.
And then I think about that, and I think, is that system even broken? Does it need to be any different than just putting clips on the barbell? Like,
I mean, when you bench, you already don't need clips. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Don't use clips.
Right, I'll die under the bar.
I will die.
I just don't know. Like, it's not I don't know if it's a problem that needed fixing or not. Especially like when the
and
price
if it's coming
is so
at the
much more-
expense
right.
of good knurling and things
yeah,
like that,
then
it's like,
then you're
it's a loss. Like,
right. I think so too.
Yeah, I think they did like standard size dumbbells. They were like $200 for those handles. I told them not to send me those because I don't have those plates, so I didn't want to bother.
Oh, like the 1 inch. Oh, yeah.
The 1 inch ones, right?
Right.
But I have them for the 2 inch. I really like them. I don't use my other ones now because I have those. I think they're badass if you want to like give somebody like a fancy present, or you want to be like, it's high end stuff. It's really cool. But as a normal person, there's no way I would probably ever buy that.
I guess you're right though too, where it makes a lot more sense with the loadable dumbbells.
Oh yeah, the dumbbells.
than it
I think that
is
is the best case scenario for those. Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
Okay.
And I beat the crap out of mine. I you maybe never saw the video, but I threw it off my my parents have a farm. I threw it off like 100-foot gravel bank.
Yeah, I did watch
down
that
rocks into briars or prickers, whatever you want to call them. I guess you guys can argue over that word later.
Either one of those words, we don't use either one, so we can't even.
Well,
It's all French to us.
what do you guys use?
Well, what are you referring to?
we have to.
Prickers, like prickers.
I don't know what a pricker is.
Pricker bush.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
a whistle?
So it's like a bush.
Like the ones where the things get stuck on you, like a cockabur.
Okay, you guys are using words those aren't real words.
Like
I would say, yeah.
like when you go in, it's like it's stuck onto you. It like hangs on.
It tries to stab you and it tries to kill you.
But you're not talking about a thistle, right?
Are you talking about what you would like?
Maybe I'm talking about a thistle.
Well,
am I allowed to Google image?
Yeah, you should,
on the
because-
podcast.
Are you talking about a weed
No,
that
not a
grows where you
thistle.
don't want it, or where someone planted a bush in a place on purpose?
Think of like a rose bush. You know, it's got the thorns on the side, but without the beautiful flowers.
Okay. I know.
Just
I
wants
don't
to
know if
kill
this
you.
is relevant, but I know that every rose has its thorns.
It's relevant always.
Axl Rose. I really knew what he was.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
I did watch that video though because the thumbnail of you being on the gravel pile intrigued me.
You know, that's one of my worst performing videos lately, and that sucks. Put a lot of time into that. But anyway, I threw that bar off that, and it got dirt and all kinds of crap, and it still worked perfectly fine. Still have it. In that way, it's a really cool bar, but it's really expensive.
Okay.
Still getting to the bottom of this pricker bush. When I Google image search,
more importantly.
I do see a lot of pictures of what I would just say straight up rose bushes, but then I do see some thistle looking things, and I also see some things that I would consider cockaburs in there as well, Tanner.
Yeah, there's
so
cockabur look.
it's maybe it's a blanket term.
Yeah.
Maybe we should put this on. If you got maybe 45 minutes to an hour and a half next episode,
We could
maybe
really
we could
deep dive into this.
Just have to see if we can carve out some time for this.
Okay. Yo, Adrian, overrated or underrated the Rocky movies?
that's messed up.
And
my
I'm kind of
name,
thinking
I had to listen to that shit
3.
my whole life.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rocky 1, 2, and 3. I don't beyond that. I don't really know, but
Can a Rocky movie be underrated? Everybody knows them,
true.
but it's a Rocky movie.
Do you
But
think?
it also ruined my name.
Do you think
That's
like
kinda
our
messed
younger
up.
kids Are they still watching Rocky movies, or are they old enough now that they're like, nah, we don't watch
No,
this?
they don't, which is probably why I don't hear it anymore unless like old men call me on the phone at 10 o'clock at night.
Other old men.
Other old men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should specify other old men.
Yeah.
That's tough because it did torment my childhood. I hated my name growing up. No, that's not a joke. It's that, and because it's a unisex name, so like girls had it.
Yeah.
When you're a little kid, you're like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's like Pat.
But I like to put that hatred and anger also towards the Rocky movies. It's their fault for doing this to me.
Yep.
But it's the Rocky movie and Sylvester Stallone, so I have to say underrated. I don't know how else to do it.
I think that's fair.
Yep.
Okay, last one, and I don't know if you're familiar. The last one's usually worth all the marbles, so no pressure.
So should I hang up now?
Oh, bad connection going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
Overrated or underrated? The 400-meter dash.
Well, all running is overrated. I hate cardio, and I hate running. I'm not sure where did you search to know that I ran the 400-meter dash?
Oh, we have our
we got our
people.
feelers
Yeah,
out
we
there.
we have our connections.
I guess so. I honestly hate running, because I did it for so long and competitively. But it's not the 400. That's like less than 60 seconds, right? You can do anything for a minute. It's the 800. That's where you throw up after you're done.
Because the 800 is a sprint. Is that true or not true?
It's not a sprint. It's more of like you're running until your body wants to kill itself.
So
when you power lift, there's you could have a really successful power lift, an exciting time, and that's when you get to shit yourself or throw up, right? That's like exciting. You tried your hardest, and that's your reward, and a hell of a reward. But when you run that hard, you vomit all the time, and sometimes you pass out, and sometimes you fall over into your vomit, which has happened to me. So it's a terrible sport. Actually, I used to tell my students it's not a sport.
Is that what the runner's high is in reference to?
That is the runner's high when you're unconscious and people are like splashing water on you. That's when you know you made it. So it's actually easy to say that any running is overrated, but I had my druthers and I had to make sure, like I explained to people, don't run. It's bad for you. Anybody who says otherwise is trying to get you to click an affiliate link, and that's why they say that. They're trying to sell you something.
I think that's an awesome assessment and really great use of your druthers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm good at, I guess.
Yeah. So if people want to find out more about you, say watch your YouTube channel, all of that, where do they find you? How do they do it? And how else can they support you? You know, speaking of affiliate links, that sort of thing, how does someone show their support of what you're doing?
Just send me money.
Yep.
Just like huge quantities. I guess the only way to do it at the moment is just to watch the channel, or if you want to use the affiliate link. I always tell people, like, you don't have to like me. Use anybody's affiliate link, because if the community grows, we all grow. Right. So use Brandon's, use anybody's, maybe not anybody's. Sure, there's a couple that we could have more money than they need. But like, just use anybody's link and the community will grow. Right.
Are you kind of saying a rising tide raises all ships?
That's That's exactly. I was going to say that next, and you stole that.
Well, and then you know what they say: when there's a high tide and the tide goes out, you can see who's swimming naked.
All right.
So be careful about those tides, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's just Gluck's Gym anywhere, YouTube, Instagram. Someday I'll pay attention to Instagram. I post on it, but I don't have any time.
Well, you know, if you got the clips going, you might as well put them on there. It's free content at this point.
Maybe I should. And if you guys need help with the thumbnail, I can send you some nudes or something later.
Oh.
To help you get some clicks.
I was just in my head as we were talking, thinking about making a meme this next week of "Yo, Adrian," and then it's just like you.
I'm blocking you. Yeah. After you promote me, though, I'll wait to make sure you promote
after next week.
Yeah.
I'm not that
only
stupid.
fair.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was a lot of fun. We were glad to get you on, and I think we got some listeners that are going to be pretty excited to hear this.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Hopefully they harassed you, and that's why I got on. I tried to buy my way on. I guess it worked.
No, we can't be bought. No, money means nothing to us.
I don't know.
Wink, wink.
I've heard there's some companies out there that buy up stuff like you.
Wink, wink. Yes, all of the pillars.
Yeah.
So, well, we appreciate it, and we would recommend everyone checks out your channel. It's good stuff and pumping out fun and quality content, but also fun. So that's kind of what we appreciate about it.
Well, if you couldn't tell, I'm a huge fan, and no joke, it's since I started the channel, it's always been a huge goal of mine to go on Massenomics. It basically goes Massenomics, and then I think Joe Rogan's next, right?
That is the pinnacle. We have had some. Hey, not to give you too much hope, but there has been multiple instances of crossover for Massenomics and Joe Rogan guests.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty big there, so
you're getting set up for success.
It's natural.
Yes,
we are we're kind of like the stepping stone. We're never there. We're just help everyone else get to the next spot.
That's what I tell people. I say, listen to Massenomics, and you'll be on Joe Rogan someday.
All right, good stuff.
You're gonna tell me if I passed or not?
Good news, the finding tallies are here. You did pass overrated and underrated, so we will air this episode.
I was going to delete my channel if I didn't, because that would have been embarrassing.
You don't have to hang your head.
All right. Well, I hope when I hang up, I get some cool beans, but if not, I'll harass you.
Oh, I got.
You'll have to wait till next Monday to find out for sure.
The fridge is looking at me. I know there's beans in there. Am I going to open it or not?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks
a lot, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for the time.
Bye.
Cool beans.
The fridge opened. The beans fell out.
We left him in suspense, but
We
you did
spilled
give him
the
the cool
beans.
beans, didn't you?
That was a fun one.
That was really good. I think that was some really hilarious banter between the three of us, don't you think?
I mean, I don't want to speak too highly of our own banter, but that was
hilarious
some
banter.
Pretty good banter there.
We also mentioned Juggernaut AI while we were in conversation. You mentioned how we both use it, and I think it's a good point you brought up. It is at this point kind of the one piece of tech in the gym that I do think is actually really valuable and useful.
A subscription as well.
And it is a subscription, and that we actually choose to use our own, as Gluck was talking about, some products he buys himself, and he mentions that we choose to spend our money on this subscription, even coming from a man that doesn't like subscriptions.
Another perk, you don't have to spend $4,000 in order to get the subscription.
Considerably cheaper than that. Not only that, if you use discount code Massenomics, that's our name here if you haven't figured that out, that'll save you 10%.
Boy, if you haven't figured that out by now, you missed a lot of clues leading up to this.
Where have you been? But head to the website, Juggernaut AI. Go to the website on your phone or don't go through the app. Go to the website, sign up there, put in the discount code Massenomics. It'll save you 10% for the life of the membership. And then you can get started training on Juggernaut AI. We both use it. We've both been using it for a long time. Are you in like your final strength block before a peak block?
I am. And we're getting there, baby.
Yeah.
We're week 17. Oh, no.
Or do you have one more?
I have one more.
I think
strength
my
block.
peaking is a little bit before yours, maybe, or something. My final day is a little bit before yours.
I have one more strength
But
block.
this block I'm in, I've only done a couple days so far, but really interesting. Things changed a lot for me in this block that I'm in now, whereas like my days of the week, like
really?
the things I'm lifting on the certain days shifted quite a bit. And actually from like this week, my training is a different layout than next week.
Really?
Yeah. Just like to hit the frequency, because it picked up that I could use a little bit, I could handle a little bit more frequency and I think my squat.
Yep.
So by doing that, it's like, say I was doing my frequency on squat before, this is not exactly true, but my frequency on squat before was squatting 1 time per week.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't want to take me straight up to 2 times per week. So on week 1,
So
I'm
it's
squatting
1.5
twice.
times
Yeah.
per week?
Week 1, I'm squatting twice. The next week I'll squat once.
Oh,
So it
okay.
kind of is what
Okay,
you're
yeah.
saying.
Right,
Those
right.
aren't the exact right numbers. My frequency is higher than that
Right.
yet
But
based
that's
on
how it's getting
variations.
around that is.
But that's how it's
Okay.
actually going is like, well, the first week I will have 2. The next week I'll have 1. Then the following I would have 2. And just kind of an interesting thing that it's doing to just get me just a little bit more frequency.
Just peppering in a little more volume in there.
Yep. So that's Juggernaut AI, discount code Massenomics.
It's great stuff. It's got our universal, unanimous acclaim over here.
Seal of approval.
Do it. want to switch gears a little bit here. We are headed over to the fine country of Switzerland. And our friends at Swisslink.
Yes.
That's the country this is from, right? That's Swisslink is in Switzerland.
That checks out.
Switzerland. Okay, I was close. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded Swisslink. He had a partner based in Switzerland, and their mission was to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Over the year, that mission expanded to nations across Europe and beyond. And now, for many, many decades, Big Mo has been traveling around the world to bring you some of the finest military surplus items available. What items do you say? Well,
What items?
wow, perfect timing. Yeah. At Swisslink.com, you can
What
find,
items?
find things like military surplus uniforms. People don't realize it, but when we do podcasts, Tanner just says what items a lot, and I just have to edit it out like every 30
Until
seconds.
finally gets it right.
I just have to, I'm like, okay, he's going to say it between 10 and 100 times this episode. It will hit somewhere.
Yes, he will eventually catch
that
right
one was really close. I'm going to
Yeah.
leave that one in because it was so close to when I said it, so it worked out there. Like, it seemed very organic. But at Swisslink, you can find things like military surplus uniforms, military issue backpacks, tools, wool blankets, the OG NATO fuel cans, gas masks, emergency food, first aid kits, survival packs, camping gear, and so much more. And if you're lucky, maybe Tanner's favorite omelet in a bag.
Ooh, MREs.
If you're looking. Swisslink's unrivaled collection and dedication to quality customer service sets them apart from the rest. Treat yourself to the real thing with authentic military surplus and save 15% off your first order from Swisslink.com. That's SWISSLINK.com. Thank you, Swisslink. Use code MASS for 15%.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
And then stay tuned. We might have a drop the week that this comes out. We don't know yet. We hope so, but we don't know.
We might.
So be on the lookout if it's not.
God, we hope it's
God,
the
I hope
next
it's the
one,
next
but
week.
it's also
Yeah.
possible maybe not that one
Yeah.
either.
So hopefully that's coming soon. And there's going to be some all-star items in there. So please buy some of that stuff. We have some cool stuff for sale on the website also. So if you're looking for a way to support us, we'd love to have you, buy a t-shirt, rep Massenomics, post about it on Instagram, tag us, any of that stuff. It all helps a little bit. And you could leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That certainly helps. And say you don't want to buy any more clothes, your closet's already full. What you could definitely do to support us is become a supporting member. And we'd love to have you in the family. It's
not
fun.
only would we love you, the Discord
the community
would
love you. It's fun. It really actually is pretty fun. So we'd love to have you get signed up. If you've been around for a while and just now's the time. Just do it. Take that leap, man.
The best time to join was
Just
a
jump.
year ago. The next best time is right now.
Right now. And Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.